Welcome to Section 3. This is about managing the cyber resilience design, controls, and the alignment with ITSM processes. In the exam, there will be 9 questions from this topic. Now, if you have completed our RESILIA Foundation training, you may skip most of the content in this section, except for certain slides that have been numbered here, 89 through 93, 104 through 109, 112, 113, 122, and 148 through 151. So that makes it about 18 slides. The exam syllabus here, well, it's always on the lines of the foundation course, but it's slightly reworded because of the nature of the questions. So first of all, explain the purpose and the use of the control objectives. There are 6 controls here: human security or human resource security, system acquisition, development, architecture and design control, supplier and third-party security control, endpoint security control, cryptography control, business continuity control. Then we will delve into the interactions of cyber resilience with the ITIL processes, namely 7 of them: design coordination, service catalog management, service level management, availability management, capacity management, IT service continuity management, and supplier management. So this cyber resilience design is the next step after having defined the strategy. Only then the management system and security controls can be implemented after the design completion. It ensures that the cyber resilience strategy is realized efficiently and cost effectively with an understanding of risk and minimal negative impact of security controls without duplication of controls except for defense in depth situations. You will remember that under the cyber resilience governance part of the cyber resilience strategy, it ensures that the risks are or will be addressed. So in this design here, the risks will be identified and the solutions will be designed for them based on the governance approach decided under the strategy. So strategy becomes designed by identifying the risks and identifying the solutions for them. And then those solutions will be tested under transition and then implemented there, and then will be run as and when needed during the operation. In the box, we have these points. Cyber resilience design helps an organization to do the following to ensure that it is able to meet the requirements defined in the strategy for cyber resilience. Then also design the cyber resilience controls that will deliver the required level of cyber resilience. This is key point here. Then also understand the risks posed by people, process, and technology, and design the solutions that will manage these, achieve balance between preventative, detective, and corrective controls, react to changing threats and vulnerabilities to ensure that the strategic intent is met, even when the environment changes, and create layers of security controls that provide defense in depth. Further, the cyber resilience design identifies the following: how cyber resilience will be integrated into all appropriate aspects of the organization's management system, the cyber resilience controls needed to deliver the organization's cyber resilience strategies, those will be identified here in design. Also, how the information will be classified and what controls are required for each classification. For example, there may be specific controls for payment card data, personally identifiable information, PII that is, or corporate financial data. And also identifies how to design cyber resilience into IT services rather than providing security controls as a later add-on, and how cyber resilience will be included in the design of processes and procedures so that these meet the cyber resilience requirements of the organization as well as other requirements. And lastly, it identifies how cyber resilience will be included in the definitions of roles and responsibilities in training and in all aspects of people management. A key point is that this cyber resilience should be designed into all areas where it might be required, such as in business processes and systems, IT services and systems, physical and environmental systems, architecture and standards for any of the above. And that's interesting, isn't it? The resilience has to be there in the architectures and standards as well. And then attitudes, behavior, and culture of the organization. So we should not tend to think that the controls will only be technical. There are also the people, and process controls. So now let's dig into the controls for the design aspect of cyber resilience. These ensure that the risks to the business objectives are managed through carefully designed and planned controls, particularly the cyber resilience risks. So we have here a comprehensive view of the all the controls. First of all, we have HR security, which includes recruitment process, training and awareness. That's one of the controls. Number two, system acquisition, development, architecture, and design. So we will delve into system acquisition and development, requirements analysis, architecture, design, and development, threat and vulnerability modeling, systems acquisition, cyber resilience security testing. Then we have supplier and third-party security management, uh, which is about supplier chain risk management, confidentiality and non-disclosure for suppliers and third parties, compliance and auditing of the supply chain and third parties. Then we move on to another control, which is endpoint security, followed by cryptography, and we will also look at virtual private networks or VPNs under cryptography. And then lastly, business continuity management or BCM, touching upon business impact analysis or BIA. So we first begin with human resource security. This is mainly to manage the risk from employees and contractors during hiring, during employment, and when leaving the organization. Because people are the weakest link in cyber resilience. Users and administrators of IT systems with privileged access to critical and sensitive assets. People can also be hackers. There can be insider threats from dishonest, disgruntled, disaffected employees, and also from those who are targets of malicious influence and coercion. That means some employees may be subject to coercion from outside influencers. Poorly trained and unaware employees can inadvertently disclose information, lose assets, or cause system failures. Well-intentioned employees may also circumvent controls or cut corners, resulting in unintended risks just because there are too many controls to deal with. A holistic and life cycle approach to HR management, therefore, is required, from initial identification of the need for an employee to the job specification, then to skills matching, induction training, in-job or on-the-job training, and line management through until termination. The recruitment process. This begins with the role definition, responsibilities, and skills required as part of the job descriptions. And cyber resilience is a key consideration in this with security or cyber duties considered. So what that means is for roles with direct cyber resilience responsibilities, we need to note the specialist skills and qualifications required for the role, and particularly for government-related work, any other clearance required. The level of screening and vetting would depend on local, legal, and cultural constraints, for example, in case of multinationals. We now look at the pre-employment aspects. Now, for any role, the right person must be recruited. And therefore, there will need to be some pre-employment or contract checks to provide assurance that the recruit is clean before the final employment is given to the individual. And as part of this process, the following should be verified, such as qualifications and skills, employment history, and also taking references and verifying them, checking the right to work in case there is some immigration situation, checking financial, criminal records, qualifications, identity of the individual, any other security clearances, and health issues. It's important that there is no discrimination done when checking for certain information like financials or health issues and maybe others. And the best practice here is that pre-employment checks must be made to verify the employee's claims, the prospect employee claims made on the application and their CV. This is like an early check on the integrity of the person, because if they are claiming something false or they are exaggerating something, that can likely be pointing to future issues. And if there are any discrepancies, they should be followed through. Sometimes it could be an inadvertent mistake in the CV, and that could be overruled by checking with the individual. And however, employment should not be granted before the checks are fully complete. And if there are any recruitment agencies being used for this purpose, then they need to make sure they're carrying out the preliminary screening of candidates.